What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Career Mode. This is episode number 124, and today, guys, we start the episode off with a game against OB here away in Denmark to take on this side, of course, in our Europa League qualifier second leg. And after winning the first leg by 3-0, it was looking very, very unlikely that the hosts would knock us out and progress to the group stages themselves. So we rested pretty much every single player. Only Lloris from our original first 11 who started the game against West Brom would start this one. So I was feeling very confident, as you would expect, really, and although I didn't think we'd probably get the win in today's game, at least, you know, making sure we wouldn't concede 3 goals, I was pretty confident we wouldn't do that. So we did take on OB, and once again, guys, there is only one game in today's episode, and I know a few of you don't like that, but I just want to say straight away, don't worry, because after today's episode, this ends the transfer window off. After today's episode, we will be returning to having 2 to 3 to possibly even 4 games per episode, so there you go. But anyway, for the first chance of today's game, Townsend was ran clear in the 57th minute, but the shot was well saved, and from the corner, Gutierrez heads it in. So that was me saying I didn't really think we'd win this game, and really the first chance came in the 57th minute. Nothing happened in the first half, and we got the goal through Gutierrez. So really good finish by Gutierrez, and it was John Joe Anderson as well making his debut since signing from Millwall, who got the assist from the corner. And of course, very nice to see Gutierrez get the goal as well. So the former Millwall players link up there, and it was 1-0 to us. In the 61st minute, a great chance for OB to get themselves a goal. Anderson's shot was well saved by Lloris. The follow-up shot was blocked, and then the third shot went wide of the post. So still 1-0 here, but OB trying to get themselves back on level terms. And again, Lloris makes a good save here in the 65th minute. But to be honest, it was a game which they didn't really threaten too much, and when they did, they didn't look too menacing. And we always looked so deadly on the break. And in the 72nd minute, we had a great chance to make it 2-0. Townsend plays a great free ball to Koulibaly here, gets around the goalkeeper, actually turned away from the goal, got taken down, and somehow the referee didn't give a penalty. So in the first leg, you saw Koulibaly win a penalty, which probably wasn't a penalty, and in this one, he should have been given one, and he didn't get it. So the penalties in FIFA, like, I just don't understand what the referee, what the virtual referee justifies as a penalty in this game, because there are so many decisions, you look at them and they're clear penalties and they never get given, and then there are some which in my opinion aren't penalties, and the referee gives stonewall penalties and possibly a card as well for the defender. So I don't really understand it, to be honest, but the game finished 1-0 regardless. OB did have the ball in the back of the net come the end of the game, but the referee, the linesman had his flag up for offside. So 1-0 the final score, 4-0 on aggregate, and we are indeed through to the Europa League group stages. But straight after that, we had transfer deadline day, and this is one of the most infuriating days for anyone that plays career mode, because it is just so annoying. But anyway, we start off transfer deadline day with Norwich coming in for one of our strikers. They want it for £1.1 million, and we say okay. Athletic Bilbao want Lovren, and we say if you match an £8 million deal, you can take him. So Lovren could be on his way to Bilbao, and that random 71 rated striker could be on his way to Norwich. We then go back in for Connor Wickham. We offer £12 million plus Jake Livermore for the striker, because I really do want to get hold of him. And all this is happening in the first hour as well. You've seen Nathaniel Chalobah accept the contract here. We leave it just for the time being, but yeah, all this happens in the first hour. As you can see, we've still got 10 hours left, so we adjust the budget after that. We go ahead and put in a bid for Julian Draxler. I had all these business deals planned out in my head, so I knew what I was going to be doing. So we put in a bid for Julian Draxler here of I think it was 18.5 or possibly £19 million for Draxler, because I would love to get this guy into the side, plus Paulinho as well, because Paulinho has his contract up at the end of the year, and I'm not too big of a fan of him on career mode, so I'd like to get hold of Draxler. So we put in a bid of £18.75 million plus Paulinho, which is quite a good deal for Draxler, really, on the grand scheme of things. We also put in a bid for Ross Barkley as well, because of course we've wanted this guy ever since we joined Spurs, but we just haven't been able to negotiate a fee with Roberto Martinez for the services of the young, talented English attacking midfielder. So we put in a new bid for Barkley. It's £17 million plus Paulinho, because as I said, he's not going to be getting a new contract at the club, and I think we can do better than Paulinho, really. So £17 million plus Paulinho is quite a lot of money, but I'd like to get hold of him. And we also put in a bid for Andy Carroll as well. As I said, I knew exactly what I was doing. I had my notes written down in front of me, so I knew exactly where to go and how to do it as quickly as possible, really, because of course the clock is against you on transfer deadline day. And we put in a bid for Carroll of, I think it was £4.7 million, or maybe just £4 million plus Lancaster as well. And we'll wait and see what Norwich say to that deal for Andy Carroll. So all this happens in the first hour, right? You get 10 advances in career mode, so you've got 10 hours, 10 clicks of the X button. The first click, nothing happens. So in 1 hour we receive receive nothing from any of the clubs we were doing business with. After the second hour, we get just one email. 2 hours for one email, and that's to see that one of our random strikers has gone to Norwich in the face of Darnell Bowery for £1.1 million. 3 hours have now passed, and we've only got 2 emails back. This one here sees that Athletic Bilbao matched the £8 million deal for Lovren. So in 3 hours, all the clubs we put bids in for haven't said a single thing. After 4 hours, we do finally get some word back to find out that Schalke said the deal for Draxler was not good enough, and Norwich said the deal for Carroll was not good enough. So the deals for Barkley and Wickham, we'd had nothing back, and you know, in 4 hours we'd had nothing back from Sunderland or Everton for Barkley or Wickham, and in 5 hours finally we found out that Everton said that the deal for Barkley was okay, of £17 million plus Paulinho. So we offered him a contract here. That took 5 hours. 5 hours to find out that transfer was acceptable, and after 6 hours we finally did receive word that Sunderland said the deal for Wickham was okay. We also got a transfer offer for Eric Lamela as well. We put in a contract for Wickham, that's £12 million plus Livermore, and we offer him a quick contract there. We don't even bother looking at the Lamela deal because I knew what it was. I think it was about, was it £21 million plus Napoli? Sorry, £21 million for us from Napoli for Lamela, so we just ignore that one really. And straight after that we did see that a transfer offer came in for George Gardner, and not Lovren went to Bilbao for £8 million. So in 7 hours, these players that we put in bids for, we still hadn't finalised any deals, and that was the bid from Napoli for Lamela for £19.5 million, which we of course reject. And yeah, we were still waiting for these deals to go through. So I thought, at this rate, we're not actually going to be able to sign any players. So I decided to sign Nathaniel Chalobah because I couldn't believe that in 7 hours, 7 clicks of the X button, and still we'd only signed one player. That was Chalobah, who we'd already agreed a contract with before transfer deadline day. This day is just ridiculous on career mode. But after that, we saw that we did indeed find out that Barkley has accepted the contract, and George Gardner has gone to Birmingham for 450 grand. So we do get Barkley in for £17 million plus Paulinho. It's a lot of money. It probably is an overspend. It is an overspend, to be honest. I know that already. But even so, with the clock running down, I couldn't resist. I couldn't risk doing any more bartering. And after that, we saw that Connor Wickham accepted a contract as well, £12 million plus Livermore, and of course we didn't have any money to pay for him, so I just realised that we'd signed Chalobah at this stage. I was like, oh, for goodness sake, seriously. But we went and adjusted the budget, and thankfully I left myself just about enough money that we could go ahead and sign Connor Wickham as well as Chalobah and Barkley. So those 3 players come in for a lot of money. So £12 million plus Livermore for Connor Wickham. A transfer did come in for Lewis Holtby, as you see there, but as we only had 1 hour left, that deal wouldn't get off the ground. So those 3 players, Wickham £12 million plus Livermore, Barkley £17 million plus Paulinho, and also Chalobah for £8 million. That is a huge amount of business. That is £37 million for those 3 players in total, plus losing Paulinho and Jake Livermore. So huge signings, massive deadline day signings, they really were. And I just cannot believe it took that long to get that all sorted. We had 1 hour left and we'd only just agreed a deal with Connor Wickham. It took 9 hours to sign just 1 player on deadline day. Honestly, this game is just ridiculous at times. It really is. But even so, thank God we managed to get the business done. I really did want to get hold of Draxler, I'm not going to lie. But to be honest, I'm still pretty pleased we did get the transfer targets I wanted in Wickham, Barkley, and of course Chalobah. So Wickham's an 81 rated striker, so pretty good. Not too great, to be honest. I would have liked him to be a little bit better, but he's still pretty good. And he's 25 years old, so I can imagine he can get to 82, 83. We also signed Ross Barkley, 82 overall, 24 years old. So again, another big signing there. Very, very expensive, this player, and he could turn out to be a bit of a white elephant for us if things backfire, but I'm confident he could be a very decent player for us. And also Nathaniel Chalobah is an 81 rated player. So all the players are in the 80s, which is great. And, you know, at the end of the day, we spent a lot of money on deadline day. We spent a huge amount of money in the summer transfer window, but in total, I'm pretty pleased with the business we have done. But what I will say is this: we end transfer deadline day here, you see what all the clubs have done. What I will say is this: as you can see on the right there, the biggest deal of the transfer window was us signing Barkley for a roundabout figure of £31 million. I have to say that if we don't get into the top 4 this year, I'm pretty sure we're going to get sacked. Because as you'll see, the budget and the amount of money we spent, it is absolutely ridiculous. We've never spent this amount of money in career mode before. With Tottenham Hotspur, I didn't realise this at first, but we have spent a grand total, as we're waiting for it to come by, we have spent a grand total of, come on, we have spent a grand total of £90 million. £90 million in one transfer window. We have spent so much money. £90 million. That is insane. We have completely changed the squad. We have spent the big bucks. We didn't even have Gareth Bale to sell to cover our losses. So we have spent, I think it was about £60 million a net loss in total. So we have spent a huge amount of money. Of course, £37 million of those went on transfer deadline day on just 3 players. Here's a look at all the negotiations, the players that joined the clubs and left. Carrasco, Guterres, Shah, Barkley, Fernando, Chalobah, Darlow, Jones, that random goalkeeper, Connor Wickham, Stephen Corker, Danny Welbeck and John Joe Anderson were all the players that joined the club in the transfer window for £90 million. And I'll tell you this right now, if we don't get into the top 4, we are getting sacked, because Daniel Levy was very lenient to us with a big budget. He said to, he said to me, brought me into the boardroom, he said, listen lads, listen, I've got big faith in you. I'm going to give you £90 million. I'm going to give you all this money to spend. Basically make the most of it. I'm not going to punish you if you, basically don't make all the signings I want you to make, but you've got to make the right deals and you've got to get us into the top 4. If you're going to spend this money, you've got to get us into the top 4. And I'll tell you what, if we don't get into the top 4, we're getting sacked. There's no doubt about it. You can't spend that much money. You can't justify spending that much money and failing to qualify for the Champions League. So this season is actually going to be a really interesting one, because I actually think that this season could be one where, like I said, if we fail to get our objective, we will actually get the sack. And that would be the first time we'd ever get a sack, to get the sack from a club in career mode. So this is the side and how we've got it set up, our £90 million assembled side. It's a 3-5-2, Lloris in goal, back 3 of Kirikaz, Corker and Shah, Fernando and Barkley the holding mids, Carrasco and Lamela on the wings, Holtby as the playmaker and Sturridge and Welbeck as the strike partnership. Darlow, Guterres, Rose, Chalobah, Carroll, Townsend and Wickham are the players on the bench, but of course Olivier currently has an injury and he'll return to the first team when he is back. And this is the squad report as well. So yeah, I mean, I've mentioned it about 26,000 times already now, but seriously, £90 million, it is unbelievable that we spent this much money. And yeah, I really am going to be fearing for my job if we got like 5 games to go and we're like 8 points away from the top 4. I may as well be handing in a resignation letter, because we'll probably be losing our job. So we've spent big, we've made some massive deadline day signings, we've completely transformed the club already in just a couple of months. Is it going to backfire in our face? Have we brought a load of white elephants, and are we going to be made to pay come the end of the season if we get the sack for failing to qualify for the top 4? Or will it turn out to be an amazing bit of business, amazing £90 million worth of transfers, and possibly even qualify for the top 4 plus even challenge for the title? Who knows? You'll have to wait and see. But as always guys, a big thank you for watching today's video. I really hope you have enjoyed it. If you have enjoyed the video, please leave likes, it's much appreciated, and it really does help my channel out. And I'll see you for the next episode of Career Mode very soon.